So this is Module 2, Part 2, using Explorer to control files and folders on your hard drive. So the first thing we want to look at is how to start up Explorer. So this is our familiar desktop, and the simplest way is to go to the taskbar. We find this yellow rectangle, which is the direct link to File Explorer. Click on that and it will start up Explorer, and you can then select whichever of the folders that you want to get to, or indeed under this PC any of the drives which are there. Windows C: is your main hard drive. So this is Windows Explorer. I close that down. Another way of getting into it is to go to the Start button and to go to the File Explorer, and that does exactly the same thing. Another way, for those of us old-fashioned enough to know how to do it, is to use the keyboard, and you need the Windows key to do this. So here's a little picture of the Windows key with its 4-square box, and if you hit the Windows key and then run, it brings up a box on the bottom left of your screen, and if you type in there Explorer like I've done, then click on OK and it brings up Explorer. So we'll come back to the Windows key because it's got a few useful features that may be useful to us later on. So we can maximize this or set it to whatever size we like. We can change the shape and size of this particular window, but it's all about File Explorer. And if we want to find something, then there is a box on the top right where you can actually search for things on your hard drive. So if I want to find something which is a file that I know starts with stats, and I have a pretty good idea it's in my documents folder, then I can type into the box in the top right stats, and it comes up with this file called Stats Calculator, and that's the one that I want. While we're looking at this, I can look at the properties of this particular file. So right click, Properties, and it will show me that the type of file it is. It's an XLS file extension, which means it's a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. I can change that by opening it with it, which is a dangerous practice, not to be done without risk of total failure. But down here, because I downloaded this from another website, I've actually got the file as being blocked, and if I want to change that, then I can have to select the unblock box and go from there. So that's the way to find files and folders on your hard drive. Another way of finding files and folders is to use what's called a wildcard, which is the star sign or the asterisk. And if I want to find all of the PDF files that I've got in my folders, then I would look for star dot, and the PDF is the portable data format files or PDF files. So I can now look for PDF files by hitting the enter key, and it will then look, and it says no, there are none in that particular folder. But if I go to my C drive and I start again and type in star.pdf, then it will come up with working on it, and I'll pause that while it's doing its work. So now you can see all of the PDF files that have been found on this system, with the location of the particular file, and I could actually open these and have a look and see what they are, find the one that I'm looking for. So that's File Explorer. So we'll close down that window and we'll open up another one, and we'll go back and use a different method of getting in, and there is File Explorer. So now what we want to look at is a way of cutting and pasting a file or a folder. The method of cutting and pasting: cut means move it from where it is and paste it into a new location. So if I take the file that I found before, which is Stats Calculator, and I want to put that into a different location, if I right click on it, one of the options that I get coming up is to cut it or to copy it. Now I want to move this to a new location, so I select cut, and then I find the new location, and I can then right click and I get the option to paste that file, and then the Stats Calculator file has been moved from where it was to this new location. So I go back to Documents, and it was in the SMD folder, and now it's gone. There is nothing there. So if I want to put it back into there, then I'll go back to where I put it, which was Silver Internet, and this time if I want to copy it, I right click, take the copy option, then go back to the Documents folder, the SMD folder, right click and paste, and I get a copy of that particular file. So that you can do with any file, any folder on your system. So it can be right click, copy and paste, right click, cut and paste. Cut and paste is to move it, copy and paste is to get a second version of it in a new location. And some keyboard shortcuts that you may like to be aware of is using the Control key. So if I go to the keyboard and type in Control X for cut, then this has become dimmed, and then I can take it to a new location, put it in my Documents folder, and I can then put in a new location, and Control V then puts it there. Now I don't particularly want it in this folder, so I highlight it again, Control X for cut, back to the Documents folder, open up SMD, Control V will put it back where it was. So Control X is for cut, Control C is for copy, Control V is for paste. So there are a few keyboard shortcuts that you may find useful. So the next thing we want to look at is how to delete files and folders, and then if you really want to recover it, then how to find it again. And this is the use of Recycle Bin. So here we are back with our desktop, and if you look at the top left hand corner we have Recycle Bin, and if I look into there, there's some files that I've deleted from this particular system. If we go back to the File Explorer and have a look in the SMD folder, here is Stats Calculator, and if I right click on that, one of the options I've got is to delete, and bingo, it's gone. Now if I look at Recycle Bin, then Stats Calculator is in the Recycle Bin, and if I want to get it back, then I right click it, go to Restore, and it will put it back into the place where it came from. So to clear Recycle Bin, then all I have to do is to click on File, Empty, and everything disappears. And those cannot be recovered. To control Recycle Bin, I can actually look at the properties of Recycle Bin. And what this will do is give a size. So if I want to create more space in Recycle Bin, because I've got a lot of deletions, then I can edit the amount of space that it takes up. If I move files to the Recycle Bin, then removing files won't be possible because they then get deleted. So that's Recycle Bin, and if you lose stuff, then that's the first place to go and have a look. Now finally, we'll have a look at one or two aspects of files and folders which we can get through the right click button. So if we go into this folder that I've got here, which is document and file examples, we have a folder in there, BBC Home Files. If I right click on that, then I can open it. I can open it in a new window. I can pin it to a quick access, which means to put it into Start button. I can scan it with the virus checker which is running, which is Windows Defender. I can give access to other groups and users on the system because this is part of my profile, which is reserved for me. Snagit is another application which may need access to this particular file. There are various versions of it. I can include it in a library of the particular profile folders that I've got, or I can pin it to the Start button. I can also send it to a Bluetooth device, to a desktop, put it into documents. I can email it to someone, or I can send it to a DVD drive which is part of this system. I can also cut and copy it, which we've looked at. I can create a shortcut to it. I can delete it, I can rename it, and I can have a look at properties. So if we have a look at properties of this particular folder, then it gives me all the information. It tells me where it is. It's on C:, folder called Camtasia, subfolder, document and file examples. The size is 1.13 megabytes. We'll talk about megabytes and what they mean a bit later on. And contains 29 files in that. And then there is a creation date, so you can know if you're looking for a particular file or folder, you can tell when you actually created it. And then these are attributes which make it read-only, so that's an option that you've got, or you can make it hidden. And if it's hidden, then it wouldn't appear on the Explorer. Then there are tabs at the top. We can share this as a folder. You can share folders, but you can't share files. We'll have a look at that when we talk about networking. Security is a way of controlling who gets access to it. You can see that I'm listed as being someone who can get access to this particular file, and then are there any previous versions? No previous versions. And then customizing gives me various other options that I can look into. So all of those are possibilities on that folder. If I go to a particular file, let's look at recipebook.pdf, then I'm getting pretty much the same list of options. The properties are a bit different. See, I don't have the sharing option now because I can only share folders, I can't share files, and sharing is making it available on the network. So if you have a shared folder on one PC, then someone from another PC can gain access to it, to a shared folder, providing they have the access rights, and that's all dealt with on security and the security of the share and also the security of the files themselves. So security is again a list of possibilities for this particular file, any details when it was created, which owner it is, which machine it's on, and then any previous versions, no previous versions. So this is on the right click option of the file and folder properties. So that is the end of the second part of module 2, which is E for Explorer, controlling files and folders. So we've learned how to find stuff by using the search option on your computer. We've moved stuff around by copying it, cutting it and pasting it. We've then deleted stuff and found it again using Recycle Bin and recovered it. And we found that if you don't send it anywhere else, then downloads will go into the download folder unless you actually choose to send it somewhere else. And we've also made a note that downloads may be blocked by Windows 10 and a way of unlocking them, and we've had a look at the properties of files and folders. So see you soon in module 3.